Turn on the AC. It's Angel Caruso.
Terry Silver needs to come back into Cobra Kai Season 6 by Part 2 because this show has no real villain. Now, John Kreese is the villain at the moment, but the problem is he's so elderly that he feels like he's no threat at all. And this is the problem. Terry brings some charisma, some youth, some real threat to the table because we've seen how evil he can be. He's one sadistic, evil man. And without Cobra Kai ending with Terry as the main villain, I'm going to be very disappointed because I feel like John Kreese's arc is over. They must be bringing him back, surely. Everything that he brought to the table in Season 5, the dramatic climax, the fight with Chosen, being arrested like that would have been fine if that was going to be the finale, but it wasn't. And I want to see something that I can sink my teeth into, some real fighting. What I don't want to see is John Kreese getting into a fight. The man can barely walk, and we're supposed to fear this man. So who doesn't want more of Terry's one-liners?
We use mother, maybe.
Terry is more devious than John Kreese. We see this and witness this in Karate Kid Part 3. Look at what he does to Daniel. He absolutely destroys him from within. However, he's actually making him stronger, so his devious plan doesn't really work.
This guy wants to break you, humiliate you, stomp you into the ground.
All makes sense. He's teaching him to be tougher by smashing in the karate bad boy wooden statue. That's great. You've just made him even tougher and more likely to win against Mike Barnes. It doesn't make any sense, and that's what I love about him. His plan is foiled, but it's more devious than John Kreese. They've turned John Kreese into this searching for answers where he'll cut off a cobra's head and have some sort of hallucination that he's killing Johnny. That's not how I want to see the end of Cobra Kai. Is that how you want to see it? Not for me. I want something that brings some
Fair play.
This show is nothing without Terry Silver. You can see that by the reaction to Season 6. It's far inferior to anything that's come previous because they've not upped the ante. They're just showing more elderly people teaching mystical karate in the woods. Like, it's for kids. This show is now for kids. And I think that the only way that this can be done is with Terry Silver. Terry Silver is the man. Look at what he can do. You don't get any of this from John Kreese. All he does is just smokes his cigar and sits there like he's some sort of puppet master. I just don't believe it or buy it. With Terry Silver, you've got the charm, the charisma, the style, the money, the influence, and the good looks. You don't really get that from John Kreese. So to conclude, bring back Terry Silver. That's the only way that I'll be satisfied with this ending. It's what I want to see. Please, we've had everybody else. Bring this guy back. And I just want to leave that one there.
Turn on the AC. It's Angel Caruso. Turn on the AC. It's Angel Caruso.
Hello, and here we are to talk about 20 reasons why the Karate Kid trilogy can change your life. So without further ado, let's start. Reason 20. This is brought to you by the people that brought you Rocky, and you can feel it at times. This has just had miles more money thrown at it. Reason 19. The summer tone that this movie brings will keep you smiling all year round. Reason 18. The phenomenal casting of John Kreese, played beautifully by Martin Kove. Reason 17. This movie teaches you something each time you watch it. This is one of the best reasons to love the Karate Kid. Reason 16. All three movies feel like they are respected and loved by everybody involved. The trilogy does not tire and we are left wanting more. Reason 15. The story is about a kid being bullied at school and we learn how to deal with that. Many people are bullied at school and even at work. Reason 14. The movie score is composed by Bill Conti, the same guy who did Rocky. Each movie has its own tones and themes but feels so connected to each other.
We use mother, maybe.
Reason 13. The introduction of Terry Silver in part 3. Likely knowing this was going to be the last one and needing a reason to bring back Martin Cove, we are gifted with one of the worst villains in the movie history, and that is Terry Silver. He is one cocky son of a bitch and is a joy to watch in every single scene. Reason 12. The ice-breaking challenge. In Karate Kid Part 2, Daniel is forced to take part in ice breaking, using only his hand. It is beyond unrealistic, and for the reason alone, it is a reason to watch. Reason 11. The casting choice for Johnny in Part 1. Watching this as a kid, he was just a villain, but the reality is, he was just a lad in love. He knew he had lost his girl and he did not know how to handle it. When someone rejects us, our instant reaction is to be mean in return, and this is what Johnny displays. He wasn't a bad kid. Now to the final 10 reasons to watch and love the Karate Kid movies. Reason 10. The lessons we learn from the bonsai trees. Mr. Miyagi teaches us the ways of life with references to the trees that he made famous. Reason 9. Daniel's life and home circumstances. His mother is trying her best, but she is so swamped with work and other family commitments that she slowly lets Daniel become attached to Mr. Miyagi. She is a side character really, but without her neglect towards Daniel, then we would not have this franchise. Reason 8. The power of love. Love is the power and driving force in all three movies. Johnny wants to beat Daniel because of love. Love for Sensei Kreese. Daniel wants to win the tournament so he can be free and enjoy love with Allison. Mr. Miyagi has grown to love Daniel and he wants to protect him and make sure that he can learn everything that he can teach him. So yes, love is the reason. Reason 7. The double cross of Terry Silver. In part 3, Terry teaches Daniel the ways of the Cobra Kai. His scheme actually makes no sense. He is making Daniel tougher by his methods. When Daniel is made to hit the wooden karate man, you can feel the pain in every hit. Reason 6. The soundtrack. The soundtrack could be played to a blind man, and you can feel the heart and soul of these movies. This is what I love. Reason 5. Perfectly casting Ralph as Daniel and Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi. Reason 4. Mike Barnes. Mike Barnes is just a boy, but he's so threatening towards Daniel that he is scarier than Johnny, with a business mind and a cunning relationship with Terry Silver. Mike Barnes truly is the bad boy of karate. Reason 3. The setting of Miyagi's home. It is a beautiful Japanese garden which, even though it is a movie set, feels like a home you'd want to live in forever. Reason 2. The genius of the three movies gave us the foundations to the TV series, Cobra Kai. This was one of the best revival productions that has ever come to screen. Reason 1. That the director cared. The director cared enough to deliver us all three movies. Not perfect by any means, but three movies worth their weight in gold. They teach us about love, about respect, about doing what is right, and how to treat each other. So when people mention the Karate Kid, from now, I want you to think about what I said. Do you have 20 reasons to love the Karate Kid trilogy? Let me know. Put it in the comments. And that's all I want to say on that.
Turn on the AC. It's Angel Caruso.
Okay, and welcome back. Today we're here to talk about why Mr. Miyagi is the best. So imagine, it's 1984. You're on your own. You're struggling. You know your mum's struggling. She's trying to hold it together, keeping a job. You're moving to a new town. You're getting bullied at school. You've got nothing. You've got one girl that you fancy. She fancies you, but the fact is the bully is her ex. What are you going to do about it? And without guidance, Daniel doesn't know what to do about it. If it wasn't for Mr. Miyagi coming in and interfering and helping him, Daniel would be either moving schools
This is the end of the line.
or moving towns, because things wouldn't have ended up well for him without Mr. Miyagi's interference. The fixing of the bike, the helping of the Halloween costume, the friendship, the teaching of the respect of the bonsai, the teaching of the cry. All of these things that Mr. Miyagi brings to the table, Daniel is lacking a father figure. All he has is his mother and poverty. He's never known wealth, and now he's got a girl who has money, and she looks down on him somewhat. She makes out that she doesn't, but she does, because she comes from a rich family. Mr. Miyagi, we don't know his wealth. We know he's got money, but we don't know how much. Not enough for him to not be working, because he was a janitor in the first film. However, by part 2, we see this father-son relationship develop. Off to Okinawa they go, and Miyagi is just absolutely poetry. He's just gorgeous to watch in part 2. If you watch Karate Kid part 2 and just look at the relationship between Daniel and Miyagi.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Mr. Miyagi. Doesn't look like Spider-Man coming down here, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. Now remember
Arch off, come in! Helicopter, come in, goddammit! Christ!
Look! Okay, yet?
Yeah, I got it.
There you go.
Okay.
You got it.
All right.
And now you can use both your hands.
Oh, no. Shh.
Yeah. I got it. All I need is a
Make a
backpack.
move, I'll blow your head off!
Guys, hang on! Come on, grab the rope! Grab the rope! Are you okay?
I got it!
Look, goddammit, cease fire!
I gotta get it! I gotta go! Come on! This thing got washed out!
All right, let's get down
Come
there.
on, move! Hurry up!
Everything else is just noise. These two are the foundations of what make this film so good. Part 2, in some ways, is better than part 1 and part 3. The heart that is in part 2 is insane. Right from the get-go, we see Miyagi looking out for Johnny Lawrence. After Sensei Kreese destroys his trophy and then tries to destroy Mr. Miyagi, we see that Mr. Miyagi is looking out for this kid. Even though he knows he's a bully, he doesn't want to see any injuries to the kids because he believes that it's the teacher that is causing the problem at this school. Nothing to do with the actual students. And after he gets his revenge, they go to Japan, and we forget about John Kreese and the Cobra Kai because we're taking on this phenomenal journey of seeing Miyagi's hometown, the people he grew up with, the people he cares about, his history, his past. We know nothing of Miyagi besides a few little snippets from the first film. This is our chance to get to know him. And boy, is it an amazing experience. The warmth, the colours, the music, all of it just combines to make the perfect ingredients for the perfect dish. Is it a perfect movie? Absolutely no way. Is it mediocre compared to the first film? Sometimes, yes. But just trust me, if you just open your eyes and watch this through a different lens, try and see what they were trying to make here. An extension of the first one, using the elements which is love, friendship, respect, father-son bonding. This is what we've been exposed to, and we get more of it in this one. You know what? We get more of it in part 3. Maybe not as much, and maybe not to the level that we would like. But trust me, This is the reason Mr. Miyagi is the best. He is the next best thing to a dad for Daniel. What I do know is that he is the best replacement. So, for people who think that I hate on Mr. Miyagi, no, he's just an arsehole in part 3. The reality is, I love the guy, and I wish he was still around to be in Cobra Kai. But this is the next best thing. We have this, and I'm grateful for it. And I just want to leave that one there. Okay, and here I am to talk about the relationship between Mr. Miyagi, Daniel LaRusso, and Terry Silver, and the reasons why I can completely understand why Daniel edges towards Terry, and it's because of Mr. Miyagi's behaviour. Although he's still the lovable Mr. Miyagi in this film, he stands against Daniel for pretty much everything. And the reason for this is Miyagi, not only does he accept Daniel's college fund money, and Daniel has just saved everybody's life from Chosen. It was a fight to the death. He's just a boy. Let's not forget that. And we're back in America, and Miyagi accepts Daniel's money to start a bonsai tree business, which ultimately, if this doesn't work out, is going to potentially mess up Daniel's future. But he accepts it all the same. Maybe it's because it's a respect for Daniel for being kind, or maybe it's because he's always wanted this bonsai tree business.
That isn't true. Yeah, that's true. So what? So, like, reconsider. Yeah, right. Look, I need your title.
So these two should know each other, and especially Miyagi. He's been training this boy now for a while. And for some reason, he doesn't pick up on the fact that Daniel is absolutely terrified of the new bad boy in karate, Mike Barnes. Daniel is desperate for some sort of help and some let-up from Cobra Kai that will not leave him alone. Miyagi just takes it in his stride, accepts the bullying and the taunting. Daniel can't, because Daniel's the one that's having to experience it. Mike Barnes is overpowering Daniel. Not only that, he's got a new friend in Jessica. And Mike Barnes is putting their lives at risk. And still, Miyagi is not there for him. And the relationship dissolves somewhat. Daniel drifts towards Terry Silver, and yeah, it's all part of his plan. And Miyagi just lets it happen. He doesn't explain to him that he can see what's going on. And Terry Silver's plan is magnificent because he fractures Daniel. He teaches him different ways because he's still a child at the end of the day. He's moldable, and Miyagi should know better. Not only that, he's going through something, some sort of anxiety, some stress because of this tournament that he keeps getting. The business has just been damaged, and they keep leaving these application forms to sign his name. He just wants to get this done. He wants it put to bed once and for all, and Miyagi says no. And it isn't until the end where he realizes. Now, this is where Miyagi's intelligence, and this is what makes him the worst karate teacher. He realizes finally that Daniel has come to his wit's end and that he really does need his help. All of this tomfoolery could have been stopped. Here's an example. Mr. Miyagi is with Jessica, and Daniel asks him to teach him how to sweep, and to make a joke, he starts sweeping with a brush. And this infuriates Daniel to the point where he goes, "I'm leaving, I've had enough of this, I need your help." This is why Miyagi fails him, and I believe that he owes him a huge apology by the end of Karate Kid Part 3, to say I didn't really understand what he was going through.
Damn it, why am I
And I'm sorry, Daniel. And that is what he owes him. So I'm just going to leave that one there. Thanks.
Iced tea? Turn on the AC. It's Angel Caruso.
Hello, and here we are to talk about Cobra Kai Season 6. Now, everybody knows that I'm a huge fan of the Karate Kid movies. I'm a huge fan of Cobra Kai. But after watching the first 5 episodes of Cobra Kai Season 6, I can honestly tell you that I am very disappointed with how this is panning out. They're stretching this season to the point where each episode there might be a tiny fragment of something that you actually care about, and the rest of it is all filler. There wasn't one standout episode to me that was good, but I would say that my favourite one is the one where they're not showing Kreese and the new Cobra Kai that we are being forced to hate as a villain, like as, I don't know, I don't understand it. It's become a comic book program. Instead of this having heart and elegance and good direction, what we're getting is people just turning up and starring in a show called Cobra Kai. The fundamental glues to the show has all dissolved. We don't really know what we're watching anymore. They're in yet another tournament, which of course is a karate show. But I'm bored. I'm bored because the main villains, Terry and John Kreese, are not what they used to be. Terry Silver is nowhere to be seen in the first 5 episodes of Cobra Kai Season 6, and that's fine. However, aren't you meant to up the ante when you come to a final season? Or are you meant to just have nothing? This feels like an invented character and situation just for Season 6, because really, this should have all ended at Season 5. Terry went to jail. Maybe they should have both gone to jail and stayed in jail. But no, what they've done is bled one more season just to make a little bit more money, and we're getting mediocre shows now. And I'm sad, because every franchise that I've ever loved from 1984 that gets touched, it's getting touched in a way that's not satisfying. The slumber party episode of Cobra Kai Season 6, like, come on. Tori nearly killed Samantha. You know, like, let's not forget that. And now they're friends, but they're not friends, but they are friends, and I don't know, I could just see where this show was going from the get-go. I hope it picks up, but to make us wait another 3 or 4 months, and it's like, for what? You left us with nothing by the end of episode 5. Nothing that I wanted to see. So with that, and the dialogue, the unnecessary fighting of Chosen, it was just like we were thrown in at the deep end with Johnny, and then Stingray shows up and he's teaching kids in the woods, and it's like, this is creepy. This has gone beyond what Cobra Kai was supposed to be about. And that is the family, the heart. How many times can we see Johnny Lawrence fall out with Daniel and behave like a child? Like, he's got a child on the way himself, yet he still acts like this buffoon, this fool who's going to make mistakes constantly. Some people are like that in life. But I don't believe this for Johnny, not at this stage, because he seems to learn, we get some sort of redemption, and then it just goes back to this again, where they're fighting. And I'm tired of it. Have some solidarity. Show us how good you can be together. We've seen this bickering and fighting. Every now and again, maybe have a little bicker, but I'd stop throwing in a huge fight in every episode, because, again, that's not what it's about. It doesn't need to be about that. The fighting is secondary. Sometimes it's awesome. It was awesome in the school fight. But this is where it's just they turn up and then a fight happens. I'm bored. You know? You show something too much, you become bored of it. So let's hope that the rest of the season picks up, and in a good way, and redeems what it's done in this last 5 episodes, which is not a lot. I committed to this show. Can they commit to us, the viewers? And I just want to leave that there.
Turn on the AC. It's Angel Caruso.